have a little look back on that one while we wait to hear from one of the Spurs players. One of the much criticised managers beating one of the many lauded managers so far this season. And actually the pleasing thing from a Spurs perspective is the number of shots, 20 today. They've only managed 22 in their last 3 games combined. It felt like a strong performance from them.
Yeah, it was a brilliant performance. I thought that Jose and his team completely managed and controlled the game from minute one, even in those latter stages where Leeds, seemed to have a lot of possession. It was almost kind of Spurs allowing that to happen. And then even then they dealt with all the crosses. They didn't allow crosses to come into the box. But more importantly, I think from Spurs fans' point of view, they've been looking for much more of an attacking threat, much more, I suppose, better possession in attacking areas, much more bodies higher up the park. And they got all of that today with some really, really top performances.
Just having a look at some of the Leeds results against some of the big sides. They've conceded 16 goals against Leicester, Spurs, Man United and Chelsea in those 4 games. Is there a question over the way they play against the top sides in the division or not?
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say that. I think that's one of the aspects of their game they need to look at 100%. Against a team outside the top 6 or 7, they really find it benefits them. It's a plus in the way that they playing man for man, pressing high, etc. But against the best teams, once they get that one man gets beaten and taken out in a 1-to-1 man for man basis, 1v1, it opens the game up, and then it's about quality. And against these teams like the likes of Son, Harry Kane today, we saw the difference. They get chances, they score goals, and they give up a lot of chances. They've conceded a hell of a lot of goals. Yes, they do score goals, but against the best teams, maybe they have to adapt the way they play. But the biggest question is for this Leeds team, I think, from the board's perspective, from the players, the first season in the Premier League, will they stay up? I believe they will, playing this way. Yeah. They won't get some results against the bigger teams, but I think they'll win enough games to stay up in this team. But going back to Tottenham, Jermaine was talking about before, we called before the game, what they've been searching for is balance. Yeah. Attacking and defending. Today was a perfect example, and Jose got it 100% right.
OK, well, let's hear from... Well, look, the 2 men to my left spoke so much in the build-up to this about how this clash of styles is going to play out in the end. Jose Mourinho comes out on top. I'm sure he has a smile on his face. Let's find out, because he's with Des.
Jose, that looked like a very satisfying afternoon for you. Did the game plan work pretty much perfectly?
Well, the 3 points, of course, are very important. I think by the strategic point of view, we understood well how they could hurt us and how we could hurt them. And in that aspect, of course, I'm happy. I still think that we can and we have to do better.
Obviously, it was a good team performance with the qualifications you've just said, but what a sensational front duo you have, Kane and Sonny. They just work together so well.
Of course, the understanding is good, and against Leeds was important, that mobility in attack, because they mark man to man, and if you stay in static positions, you give them an easy job. When you have mobility, is a bit more difficult for them. So that movement of Harry Kane appearing on the right side and Sonny in the finishing position fit well with our game plan.
Is there a better duo in the Premier League at the moment right now than Kane and Son?
I think in the Premier League there are many good players everywhere, even in clubs where sometimes you don't believe they can have great players, but in this moment in the Premier League are great players in every club. But I have to say that Sonny and Harry, they are doing special things this season. Special things
because they've scored 76% of Spurs Premier League goals this season. It's a nice problem to have, but would you like the team to contribute more to that?
No, of course not. I want goals coming from other players. I want players to feel that they can express themselves and appear in finishing areas. Today we had Toby, but of course was in a set play. But we had other players in positions to score. Højbjerg, Ndombele, I saw Bergwijn. We had players from other positions appearing in finishing positions, which is what I want from them.
Everyone's been saying Leeds are a tricky side to take on, but it was very important for you to win this game today and start the year on the front foot after 4 games.
No, when people were saying after we played the considered top 6 teams, people were saying easier matches are are coming. Of course, I don't believe in it. Leeds is a team capable to create problems to anyone, and the next one, Aston Villa, is my favorite team in the Premier League at the moment. Is a team that I enjoy more watch. Is a team with lots of very good players, of course, very well coached, and this is what is waiting for us.
And on a bigger picture, there are issues with positive tests as late postponements of fixtures. Some managers are calling for a circuit break, 2 weeks off to try and reset. Where do you stand on this one?
I don't agree with that. I go back to the initial rules of if you have 14 players available, you have to play. And I don't see another reason for not to do it. If I think every club does the best for their players to try to keep them all safe. But then there are moments in private lives that you cannot control. And of course, not everybody has to be blamed for that. So I think we have to carry on.
He's referring to some of his players, along with the West Ham United player Lanzini, being seen on social media, all being together over the Christmas period. West Ham have said they've dealt with the situation, and Spurs have told us ahead of this game they don't approve of it and they will be dealing with it in due course. But let's focus on the positives from a Tottenham perspective today. I guess Jose is saving the smiles for the dressing room. He didn't give us many there, but he will be buzzing with that win.
They needed it. They needed it. They've been on a tough run, and this game was kind of like built up for, I suppose, for everybody to kind of point the finger at Jose and Tottenham again. Everyone kept talking about the opportunity of Leeds going level on points with Tottenham. I really thought they've shown their authority today as a team, shown that they are going to be a part of the conversation come the end of the season. There's some improvements, obviously, but I think when you've been on such a difficult run of results, late goals in a lot of those games, Palace, Liverpool and against Wolves, last-minute goals that really hurt you. They've shown a lot of character today to really pull out a big performance.
You can't not enjoy watching Leeds. Did you find when you were a player that when your managers came up against other managers who were being lauded and praised for the way they played, that they took a bit of extra delight in winning the game? The conversations were a bit different beforehand or anything?
Not really. I just think if there was obviously a personal connection between the opposing team, that was more of something you'd see a difference in the week leading up to a game. I think today, Jose would have been 100% focused on his own team and what he was doing. He wouldn't have been thinking about Bielsa and his team in terms of reputation, etc. I think that I think Jose is very secure in who he is and what he is. And just the point we made before, I think that the key difference today was the balance. I thought that the way that they started the game, they tested it out. They see where they was. Like in a boxing match, just throwing your jab out a little bit, and then when they saw that actually we know where we're at, we've seen what Leeds have got, we can then start committing more men forward. They started to do that gradually, and they managed the game perfectly today. And the key difference to this team as well is Harry Kane and Son. That quality that they have is a separation from many a team. And if they get it right, like they are in terms of stiffness through the middle of the team, and the defence is very stiff at the moment, they look like a team who you've got to do something to get goals against them. And they're not going to be as Spursy as what people have been talking about in years gone by. When you've got them two up front, you've got a chance.